Excuse me. Can you tell me where I am? Oh man, could you tell me where I am? I'm sorry, I can't understand you. Oh, you're saying take a seat?
Yeah.
Okay, So, how long will this take? Oh. Oh, damn. Yeah, I forgot to put that on today. It's the 27th, I think. Sports. Where the hell is the sports section? Usually it's... Ah, here it is. Roy Campanella sets catching record. U.S. Women's Open, Maureen Connolly victor. These are not athletes I know of. Want to be all-stars like these? A pack a day of cigarettes is full of health benefits, doctors say. Hang on, what year is this from? September 8th, 1953? Way before I was born, yet it looks untouched. Just, where am I? Oh yeah, James's good luck charm. I sure could use some help figuring this one out. This thing's old. When... Copyright 1983. 1999. No year. Huh. What even is this thing? For any who find this, and for my own benefit, this is the account of British officer Mary Day as of the SOE, as best as I can remember it. It has been so long, I've lost track of time. You too? I have no idea what day it is, nor how long I've been in captivity. Is that where I am? My memory is fuzzy, feels as if it is fading. I remember receiving orders from the commander before being whisked away to the belly of the beast. Occupied France. I was airdropped in and tasked with making contact and working with intelligence gathering resistance agencies. Perhaps they'd been doing their jobs too well. I was unable to find any of them. But through my questions, I did manage to make contact with a more militant resistance group. needing to make progress on my mission, and with little other choice, I joined them. These people showed what bravery is. Quite a few missions are run, taking out the train tracks of the Nazi transports, freeing the people aboard them, fleeing with them into the night, into the woods. I suppose I can hold that I saved many lives, but in the end, I may have been unable to save my own. It comes with the territory. Everything we were doing was illegal and risky. Doesn't mean it wasn't the right thing to do. Operation Galahad was to be our most disruptive mission yet. We were to set up explosive charges in a cooperating French munitions factory. I had managed to plant 3 of my 5. I remember a sharp pain in the back of my head, cold wind rushing, and then I was in a bed. The Nazis had captured me. I was in a prison in France. French men questioned me. I gave them nothing. Then they took me back to my cell, empty except for bed and pot. This cycle happened several more times as they tried different ways to coerce me into speaking. While in cell, I searched for a way out, but more recent escape attempts by others had caused them to up their security and their guard rounds. I was unable to find an escape. After what I believe was a month, I was shackled and put on a transport truck with others, moved to another prison. More questions, more silence from me. This happened, I think, 2 more times. Throughout all that time in these places, I never saw none of the resistance I worked with. Comforting in that they were likely not caught. Maddening in that it seems I was the only one they caught. Was I too careless? The next time, I was put on a train. I held out hope, but this time, there was no one to stop it. I was moved out of France into the heart of this monster. I was taken to one of the labor camps, the name hidden from view. Here, there was no more leniency. Now it was only pain, torture. They would stop hurting me, ask if I wanted to talk. When that did not get me to speak, they continued, pausing at intervals, but they no longer asked. What they wanted me to do was inferred. I kept a brave face. Even managed to mock them a few times when they stopped, gave me a chance to speak. It was always followed by more pain. I would say I regret doing it, but I knew it meant I was getting to them. This last session, they put more pressure, more hurt on me than ever before. After a few cycles, my head was spinning. It was too much. Even if I wanted to give them info, I couldn't get a full thought across my mind or a proper sentence out. My mind whirled. I felt my fingers go numb from all the damage done. Then, thankfully, rest. When I awoke, I was thrust into this station. They must be moving me again. Was one camp not enough? Did I get to them? But this is different. There are no Nazis here. I am left unsupervised, minus the clerk in the booth who has closed their shutter and does not appear to be watching me in any way. There are objects here, things to examine, tools to write with. It does not feel right. Something is amiss. Are they trying to lull me into false security? I have been here for some hours now, and no train has arrived to move me to wherever they wish to take me next. But when it does, I will be ready. Whatever comes, whatever they do to me next, I will endure. I will do what I must. These fascists cannot win. Hell yeah. You know, it would help if you guys had a clock. You want to ignore her? Fine, but don't you dare. Here lies the tale of me. Not that me really matters in the construct of this universe. Oh, great. This guy's full of himself. It was years ago that I could no longer ignore the calls of my heart, and I chose my profession, that of philosopher. And that profession almost always left me with no currency to speak of. Yeah, no kidding. My last memories before this place were being hungry, as I so often was. I spent what little energy I had mustered for the day, then fell asleep, the growls of my stomach guiding me into the world of dreams. When I awoke the next morn, I was arriving to this field on horseback. As I stirred, the horse bucked me off, nearly causing me to fall. A rude awakening. Oh, now that I think of it, was it a horse at all? I assume it was. I recall the steady swaying as I slowly awoke, the hooves clopping. And once kicked off, I heard the hooves galloping away at full speed, but I never saw it. Once off, the location did not hold my attention, nor did the strange means I had gotten here. What first struck me was what I was missing. I typically would awake with the pangs of hunger pulling me from my escape. But now, my appetite is gone. My need for food no longer pressing. Once that surprise wore off, then I began to notice my surroundings. This field, there seemed to be no structures here. How old is this thing? And yet, there are signs others have been here before me. Objects left behind, etchings in the dirt. And some seem to have been here for an extensive time. I pondered on these oddities. I could only come to one most likely conclusion. It seems this place was built manually by life's architects. Okay. To house all the people that flow through here, or rather, only one. Here, they must wait until they learn the most important lesson. The same one, learned over and over. It is not pointless, even if it is repeated. And yet, these architects never appeared here. No kidding. They must be off elsewhere. Sure. This place and life would need to play out without their direct involvement. They must have developed an equation. Judging by the scribblings left behind, the tales of other me's that have already come through here is evens by female, odds by male. Near as I could tell, I have passed on, and this is the place where all souls gather when they die. This has to be wrong. I can't be dead. I wouldn't be here if I was dead. At the very least, from what others say, I wouldn't have my clothes, my belongings. I wouldn't have the good luck charm. I had that on me just before I... Oh, man. I am dead. There was a car. It swerved. No. I can't be dead. I didn't get a chance to move to Italy. I wanted to move, even to anywhere else. Anywhere in that shithole town that she took me to. She always said I didn't have the drive she did. That I would die before any of that happened. So what am I supposed to believe this is? Some kind of limbo train station? All this stuff. People must have come here before with all of it. Things they died with. Donor card. Well, that was worth it. Got my organ donor status all set up just before I died. Glad I got that much done. Mama, she needed an organ. I was, 19? She had already spent nearly a year in the hospital. She had been in there for so long. Things hadn't been good for her in a while. And they were only going to get worse. Her liver and kidneys were failing. She needed a donor. It was put on the list, but Mom didn't think it would matter. At least, she said that to me. She believed the doctors were treating her different due to her age. The younger patients were getting more preferential treatment, and the Mom was an afterthought. I didn't see anything that suggested that. In her final months, there was a time where it was just me and her in the room. Mom had gone out to get food. Mom asked me to pull out some things from her purse. As I did so, she explained what they were. I think there was some joy in her voice, on her face. Something we hadn't seen from her in a while. They were things one of her old friends had gotten her. Smuggled in. Things that, if injected into her IV, would leave no trace and would kill her. Quickly, peacefully, just like falling asleep. She knew all that remained for her was months more of misery and agony. A slow descent. She wanted to rest, now. Wanted me to do it. Said I was the only one she could trust to do it, to not take the drugs away from her. Her own daughter certainly would. Logically, I understood what she was saying, what she was asking of me, the weight of it all. I paused for a long time. I remember holding the vials, turning them over in my hand. The fear, the power that her life was in my hands. I finally told her, no, I couldn't. She was my rock. I was closer with her than I was my own mother. I couldn't bear the thought of not having her, not keeping her around. I pocketed the drugs. Didn't rat her out when the doctor came next, but I couldn't give them back to her either. She said she understood, that she was asking a lot of me. I saw her several more times as she withered away. The hospital machines were able to keep her going for a time, perform the organ's functions for her, but the doctor made it clear. These were just a stopgap. She would need a donor if she would ever truly recover. It never came. It was just as she had said. The next months were miserable. As the toxicity built up in her body, her mind started to go. She had trouble remembering who we were and then even who she was. And yet, every time she looked at me, even when she didn't remember who I was, I could feel her judging me. Never really forgetting about my failure. Never letting me forget about it. She always knew and wore an expression as if I had betrayed her. What am I even talking about? Maybe they were just looks, but they seemed intended. It was such a heavy burden to bear.
And it didn't go away after she died. Years on and it never really healed. It's something I'll probably carry for the rest of my life. I guess I did carry it for the rest of my life. And since I still remember it here, maybe to the great beyond. Oh, please, no. Right. All these things. Maybe Mum passed through here, left something. Nothing. I guess it makes sense. She died in the hospital. She wouldn't have anything on her except maybe that hospital gown. Ugh. Hey! Is anyone else going to show up? Even assuming this isn't the only station you guys have, people die every minute. Someone should have shown up by now. Why do I even... If you want, you can summarize your life on a note for others to read or remember. Please only use one note. Huh. Ah! What would I even write? What would I even write? Doodles? Psycho scribblings? I never got to hold my baby. Oh. Because the men of the so-called First World USA believe themselves to be better equipped to decide how women's health care should go. And worse, I supported it. I fought for it. I didn't see it that way then, but it's true. I fought for the removal of my own rights and my own life. We're all just trash. I'll never even know if my daughter survived, or, by the gods, I may have to go through it myself. Mom, I guess I didn't treat you well either, huh? After Mom was gone, it was just me and my mom. Dad had been out of the picture since I was 1. Mom may have been my parent, the closest authority figure to me, but my mom cared for me. Mom was always cold, distant. Against all of the parents, she was acceptable, but in my eyes, a disappointment. I could run physical and mental laps around her on any day. I guess I always expected her to be smarter than me. She wasn't. Maybe that's a good thing. I guess a good parent should always want their child to be more successful than they ever were. But when my mom gone, now I had to be the man of the house. I thought I knew better than her how her life should be, what she should do. Tried many times, many ways to convince her to come around to my thinking. She outlived me. I was probably wrong. I wonder if I could just stay here, wait for her, apologize. Maybe I could. Reincarnation, she believed in that. It's something I always found silly. I figured there was no afterlife. Well, actually, I've had multiple theories across my life. They were never so normal as this. Whenever I had one, I believed it with a passion. I was always so sure of them. Just like the last one. But I was never in a rush to put those theories to the test. Now it's happening. And it looks like I was wrong. Again. Her idea of reincarnation, the recycling of souls, I guess that makes sense. It's efficient. Why create more souls than you need to? In her idea, reincarnation wasn't instant. There's supposed to be a period of being in between. Like this station. You're supposed to learn the last few lessons you had started during your life? Or maybe you were just supposed to come to terms with the fact that what you had started won't be finished. She believed only by fully accepting those lessons. Only then could you move on to your next life. Move forward. So, why not refuse to learn? I could wait here for her. But what is my lesson? That I treated women like shit? And in my next life I may become a woman. Treated poorly by people just like me. I'm sorry, Mom. I should have listened more instead of walking over you. Should have found some way to appreciate your coldness. No, your calculated mindset. And I'm sorry, Mom. I should have done what you asked. You gave me so much, but when you needed something from me, I didn't have the guts to do it. Even if I do become a woman, like them, I have to trust that I'll figure out a way through it all. Just like when Mama was gone. I couldn't do what she wanted because I couldn't bear the thought of not having her around, and yet death took her anyway. Despite the next months and years being more difficult without her support, I still managed to get by. Even got my life on an upward track. If I could figure it out then, I can figure it out now. Ah! I have no idea what to write. Everything about me just seems to be trash. Come on. I did something good. Right? Maybe Dad's already been through here. Wrote something. A couple guys definitely here, but I don't know if any of them were him. I have no idea how I would even know. I know almost nothing about him, about his life. The only thing I was able to find out is that he was an avid sports fan. He walked out when I was an infant and Mom didn't take it well. I mean, she shouldn't have, but it wasn't just cutting contact with him. She tore every record of him out of her life. She had no letters or photos or anything. She never spoke of him, no matter how much I asked. The only thing I was able to get out of her was when she was drunk. But that answer seemed to sober her up real quick, and she clammed up after that. Never drank around me again. Hell, she up and moved us out of where we were living into that shithole town, 2 states away from where they started, where her mother was living, just to make sure that not only would I never see him, but that we would never cross paths with any of their friends during that time. She cut contact with everyone. She was calculating. Maybe that coldness, that distance, is because I look like him. Maybe. Again, I have no idea what he looked like. Here I am again, just assuming the worst of my mother. I have no idea if that's why everything's happened. Being here, remembering all I've done, I don't like it. I don't like my last life. My memories, what I did. I want to forget these, not enshrine them. I was miserable. Did that car swerve? Or did I? I need to focus on something else. Okay, just... These are the last words of Branks Bromley. Born January 16th, 1993. Died August 9th, 2046? Chief Executive Officer of AIGA. I have accomplished so much. I'm a master of industry. I have earned more money in my life than most would see in 100 of them. More than almost every one of you in this station. I am an apex predator of the financial world. Oh, great. This guy's full of himself. I could have any bedroom partner I wanted. Buy any symbol of status. Buy out any competitor if I felt they were getting a bit too close to my market. I had money, meaning I had power. But still, what good did it all do me? In the end, it seems to have painted a target on my chest. That young man. All it took was a shot from a pistol and I was gone. All my money couldn't save me from that. And considering what I had done to so many others, I suppose I have to admit that I deserved it. But that's all in the past. I'm here now, learning so much that I did not know and realizing things are going to get so much worse. I did horrible things to our customers. But what I did to my own staff... I pushed them. Conned them into skipping their lives outside of my office to get things done. And now, having learned what I have, I fear I will become one of them next. Forced to work harder than I ever should have to. My employees begged for me to hire more. Of course I told them I'd look into it, but I never did. Why would I? They were getting the job done just fine. So long as they worked overtime. And some weekends. And some holidays. We really only needed one person per role. It was efficient. And it meant a hefty bonus for me at the end of every year, having kept our employment costs low. But I see that same efficiency, that same lack of care and humanity here, in this station. Remarked on by others as well. These architects of life, as another who had passed through called them. There is too much to watch over in all of creation. They would have needed to develop an equation so that the system could keep running without their oversight. And that other who passed through here seems to have figured out some of it, by using the year one life was born to determine the birth gender of the next. Evens by female, odds by male. Somewhere in there is probably the time period as well, but they didn't figure that much out. And despite being a bit of a philosopher myself, from what I've seen, I can't quite figure it out either. I was born 1993, meaning, oh gods, What if I become Frank York next? I pushed him the hardest. He clearly was miserable from it all, but he was too polite, too quiet to speak up. And I knew that. I took advantage of it. Used my bit of philosophy to justify my actions, horrible as they were. I imagine it means little since I'm already gone and so are you. They'll probably celebrate my death and I probably deserve that much. But for what little it's worth, to any of my staff who comes through here, any other version of me, I'm sorry. Take care of yourself, however you can. Signed, yourself. How could he be so... I died in 2024. He in 2046. These architects of life that built all this, they built our universe. In it, they would have been focused on efficiency. They developed an equation so that it could proceed without their constant oversight. It is reincarnation. But it's not many souls being sent back to play out the lives of others. It's just one employee. Just me. Efficiency. Why would they need more than one person? One soul? They are not bound by time moving forward. I've been here countless times before. And I'll come back countless times more. I'll learn the same lessons I've seen from other versions of me as I play out the life of every human on Earth. In my last life, I was born 1994. Meaning in my next life, I will be a woman. Keeping with that idea, maybe the month someone was born would choose the time period. I was born in March. The start of daylight savings. Spring forward. Meaning, the next time period I'm going to is in the future. The past. Whatever happens, whatever time period I end up in, I can figure it out. Maybe even make it better this time.